We are 5,558 feet above sea level in the Colorado Springs, Colorado area. You know what that means? We're at Pikes Peak International Raceway for what is the seventh race of the AWSCO Snapdragon Continental Series. It is I am correct, Ball 250, 250 laps, 250 miles, all 250 at this 1 mile track known as what I believe the fastest 1 mile paved oval anywhere. As I said, it's Pikes Peak, and welcome to AWSCO. Specifically, welcome to the AWSCO pre-race studio. I am Eddie Debs. I'm joined alongside by Ludovic Charette for this studio. Ludovic will be in the booth with Echo later today. Later today, I say, is it's almost night, and we're 10 minutes away from this thing starting, just about. So, yeah, welcome back, Ludovic. I guess initial thoughts going into this race. AWSCO is on its, I guess, sortie into the west of the United States West. It's going to Phoenix next week. I believe we've had some runs in California recently. Yeah, initial thoughts going into this race.
Well, it's gonna be an interesting one. Pikes Peak's a bit of a peculiar racetrack, and I mean, it, it 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 seems like it's gonna be interesting. I see that Evergreen starting outside pole. That's pretty good. Already a win. Maybe can get a second one like Izzy Oberman, but better than Izzy Oberman who's starting last in the grid. So yeah, it's gonna be probably an interesting one here today, but. Uh, Pikes Peak is a bit of a peculiar racetrack for multiple reasons.
Yeah, what else can you say from a track that tries to pride itself on being 1 miler fastest 1 mile paved oval? That's a bit specific now, isn't it? I guess we could start by going into the points going into tonight's race. I completely forgot who won the last race, which means I need to pull up my notes sheet. That is totally real. It was exactly who you mentioned just a couple seconds ago, Ludovic. It is Eliza Evergreen, who will be starting outside pole and also coming off of her win at Irwindale. Looking at the points, however, it is Jet Brackett for Gulf Racing leading. She is in the field today. Freya von Lundquist, Kara Reynolds, Mayumi Moriyama, and Eliza Evergreen round out the top five. Other than that, we still got 20 drivers in the playoff. The playoff cut line is 121 with Ashley Johnson. And, I mean, I don't want to say this because it feels like a little bit of pressure, but Vinnie Scholes and Karina Willis-Callaway, two drivers with a bit of a name brand going into this season for AWSCO, currently sitting just on the cut line for this race. I guess, what are your thoughts on that, Ludovic? I mean, these are two names people, I would imagine, would recognize, and I mean, them being outside of the playoffs, it's only 6 races into the season, but what can you say about two drivers who have combined two top tens over the last 6 races?
Well, I always said it. Wallace Callaway has had a few DNFs I think that have changed the balance, but for Vinny Schultz, it is not at all the season she would have wanted, and for Callaway as well. But it's honestly like it's all on them. It's been 6 races. After 6 races, if you're not in the top 20, because it's the bar to entry in this series for the playoffs is so low. The top 20, it's very easy to get in that, or it's supposed to be easy when you're in a good team and you're a good driver, but visibly for them it's not. They need to get going. Get going quickly, and that's obviously not making it into the race is the worst thing that can really happen to you. And I mean, at this point, you just gotta hope for a win, I guess, because if they continue performing like that, they won't make the playoffs, and their season will be a complete failure.
And what else would make you feel like a complete failure, especially for Vinny Scholes? The fact that Inverness Racing has two drivers in the playoffs right now. Izzy Borman with 2 wins so far, even though she's sitting in 17th, and then Lux Akuma sitting in 9th. Speaking of teams, we don't have a team championship. It'd be fun if we did, but we don't. Regardless of that, we have a couple, I would say, interesting teams looking really good to start this season. Hokkaido Velocity, Honda in the Honda camp, both their drivers are in the top six to start the season. Ozark Motorsports has gotten different cars to victory lane, that being Evergreen and Isabella Fitzmaurice. Forgive me for a quick check. That car is part of the Chevrolet um, group, which, I mean, we've been talking about Chevrolet and Cup being, I don't want to say a nightmare, but just a laughing stock, which is somehow just a little bit better than a nightmare, I imagine. Ozark does have not only two of their drivers in the top six, they have all four of their drivers. Lori Ramirez and Brenda Davis are 12th and 13th. They have all four of their drivers in the playoffs. Um, a carry job and a half for Chevrolet, although I say that as if Gulf Racing doesn't have two drivers also in the playoff race. And by playoff race, I mean in the playoffs. Should have started today. Make that three. I just mentioned Jet Bracket. Man, should have gotten my notes more prepared for this race. I really should have. But yeah, Eliza Evergreen winning last week. I guess big surprise is, I mean, Irwindale, I want to say very similar track. I mean, in terms of being, a bit short, I guess it is, but I guess which makes the big surprise of today being Latanya Gray, getting knocked out. If my notes are correct, she had the slowest time. Yeah, the slowest time, the only driver to not get under 26 seconds here at Pikes Peak after finishing third at Irwindale. So she is out of today's race. She is one of the DNQs. Other big DNQs, Leia Azelhart, one of those other Gulf drivers that are in the top 20. She is sitting in 19th. We also have lost Shizzy Min, Madison Estrada, Robin Morales, Rose Lockport, and ooh, I should have looked at this before we started. Guess who was one spot short, Ludovic?
Uh,
Madam Karina Willis Calloway was the
yeah,
last was
that's
the
why I
first
say that
driver out.
not qualifying for today was a bad thing
Oh,
because they
oh.
didn't qualify.
Yeah. And I think this is the second race in a row that a driver currently in the playoff points has not qualified for the race. Any thoughts on that, Ladovic? I mean, this is Leia Azelhart, who has two top 10s so far this season. Um, Again, in the top 20 in points, not getting a chance to race at this because of people getting, because of the disqualification rules we have here. How do you think that's gonna play out now that we've seen it's more than just a one-time thing? This could happen to anyone at any point.
Well, yeah, I mean, it can happen to anyone, but it means you're slow, and you don't want to be slow. And I mean, if and it hasn't, the only person that it has worked out in the first six races is Edelstein. Otherwise, everyone else just kind of sort of fluked their way into a win and got back in it, or is just gonna plunge back into the the darkness and the back of the field. And the back of the field, you don't want to be in there because it's I mean, you lose a bunch of points. You lose a bunch of points quickly, and then you can't really make it. And I don't know if there's a cutoff that you need to be in the top 30 to make the point to make the playoffs if you have a
I do
win
not.
in this series. I don't quite know that, but if it's there, then with 45 drivers, you quickly get you quickly get buried and you can't really go back up. Like for example, if that one there Martel, if Martel that only has one race start wins today, and there's that top 30 cap, she wouldn't be in the playoffs anyway. So winning wouldn't be really useful. Wouldn't change anything. So really, but yes, the DNQs are getting kind of a bit ridiculous. I hope there's a charter system or something of that kind next season. Because come on, you don't want to have playoff drivers not making it into the field because, oh, look at that, they just weren't quick enough. It's kind of pathetic for the sport.
Well, I was going to run through the starting order really quickly, but we are getting word that uh, the broadcast booth is ready for us. So both of us down here, and by both of us I mean me, as Ladovic needs to sprint her way up to the broadcast booth. I'm Eddie Debs. I will see you guys possibly later, but now up to Echo Evans Ross with the call in the booth.
Yeah, hello everyone. We are here at the Pikes Peak International Raceway for this is the seventh race of the season, the Ball 250. And Lou's going to join me in the booth in a moment.
To your cars.
But for right now, we're here at Pikes Peak. This high elevation 1 mile track in the foothills of the Rocky Mountains. Qualifying was very interesting yesterday, and the weather here today is pretty interesting. It was very cold yesterday, but today it's a little bit warmer, 64 degrees, and we got a lot of wind blowing. It's 24 miles per hour to the west, from the west, so it's going to be a windy day. They're going to have a bit of a tailwind down. I don't remember which way that west goes here, but I think it's in one of the corners. We're going to go through your starting grid here real quickly, and then once Lou is up here in the booth, we're going to ask Lou some more interesting questions. Alrighty, row one. It is Krista Andersen for the Macmillan Enterprises team. Andersen, who did not qualify for their first race of the season. Starting up here at the front on the pole, and alongside her, it's the 10 of Eliza Evergreen, last week's winner in Irwindale. Row 2, it's the 55, Deborah Williams, and the 7, Reina Munoz. Row 3, the 96 of Lynn Oswell, and the 25, Kathy Ableton Perez. Row 4, the 64, Mayumi Moriyama, alongside the 15 of Isabella Smith. Row 15, it's the 59 of Abby Buchanan, and the 4 of Cassidy Jones. Row 6, it's the 54, Brenda Davis, and the 0 of Hieda Yoko. Row 7, the 04, Eli Ile, and the 14 of Katrin Edelstein. Row 8, the 12, Jackie Kennedy, and the 24, Ashley Johnson. Row 9, the 11 of Takamoto Aya, and the 78, Lexi Rockwood. Row 10, the 84 of Casper von Weber, and the 81 of Alice Hageman. Row 11, it's the 44 of Lulu Connie, and the 5 of Zoe Quinton. Row 12, the 82, Sandy Martell, who's making her first start since Nashville. She failed to qualify for every race up until this point, alongside the 51 of Stella Arcadia, who's also had trouble qualifying for races. Row 13, the 8 of Kate Summers, and the 45, Liz Roberts. Row 14, the 62 of Vinnie Schultz, alongside Las Vegas winner Isabella Fitzmaurice. Row 15 is the 60 of Jennifer Wilson, and the 22 of Naomi Davenport. Row 16, the Nazareth winner Laura Sundale, and the 40, and the 2 of Rachel Ramos. Row 17, the 66 of Jet Brackett, and Daytona winner Freya von Lundquist, and the 42. Row 18 is the 95, Carl Reynolds, and the 6 of Luxacuma. Row 19 is the 31 of Luxacuma, of Laurie Ramirez, and the 93 of Izzy Oberman, who's won twice this season at Nashville and at Fontana. I'd like to point out as well, interesting of note here is that Izzy Oberman's 2 wins this season have both come when she started 38th last on the grid, so are we in for another win today? Are we in for another last of first show from Izzy Oberman? We'll see.
Probably not.
Hello, Lou.
Unlikely.
Hello, Lou. Welcome to the booth. 250 laps in this one. What do you think these drivers have going through their mind? What do you think they're? How do you think this one's going to play out in this one?
Well, I don't know how it's gonna. I don't know exactly how it's gonna pan out. What I know that they're running through their mind is when they're gonna come into turn 1, lap 1, they're gonna have a massive win in their back, which it's gonna turn into a sideways win when they go in turn 2. So they're gonna be very careful with handling, or at least I hope the teams have told them to be very careful with handling, because if they're not, they can just easily lose it, especially at that kind of high pace, short. Well, it's not really a short track, but it's very short intermediate. It's pretty easy to lose that. So yes, that's probably what's going to go through their mind. Otherwise, I mean, it's a pretty long race. It's the kind of racetrack that's a little bit particular, so they'll have the opportunity to come back from the back if they didn't have a great qualifying. I don't doubt it.
Yeah, and especially for those drivers starting at the back, we had a lot of drivers. The top three in points all had to all took provisionals, and we ended up 19th in points. Ended up failing to qualify for this race. So a lot of cars deep in points, getting their kicks together for this one, trying to make up some points here. The command has been given. There's going to be a lot of grip in the racetrack as there's cloud cover over the track today. Just about 4 o'clock local time here in Colorado, in Fountain, Colorado, near the Colorado Springs area. We're about 7 or 8 miles south of Colorado Springs. All right, Anderson and Evergreen will lead them to the green for a very short pace lap, and here we go. Green flag is out. We are racing at Pikes Peak. Munier's got the wall. Smith's in the wall. Buchanan's in the grass. We got spinners at the back.
There you go.
Ackerman, Quinton, Summers, all involved. Caution is out.
No surprise there. When I told you that the handling was going to be bad, it's bad. Oh my goodness, they wrecked again.
Stella Arcadia with big damage.
Was 2 wrecks.
I think that might have been from the 59 merging from the grass. Oh, here comes everybody to pit road.
Yeah, you saw it there. They just, when they come into turn 2, they just have that massive, very 22 miles per hour wind directly on their side, and that really just destabilizes their car, especially since they're not as high powered as the cup cars. And when you lose it, you just, yeah, you there's no really recovering, especially when there's like 10 cars that lose it at the same time.
Yeah,
Pit stop, that's gonna be important.
A couple cars stayed out here. Looks like Oswell and Jones are still on track, as well as Brackett and Sundale. I guess not a bad move. I don't think pitting now is a bad move. I don't think pitting now is a bad move, but I also don't think staying out now is a bad move. So I want to go back and see what happened there to bring out our first caution of the day. Yep, it was exactly as I suspected. Well, this is the second incident. Yep, the 59 just merges right into the track. 59 merges from the grass right into those cars, and a lot of these cars have nowhere they can go because they're just driving in at full speed. They're not expecting that wreck to start. Let's see the first incident. This one, what, the 40 was in it? Yeah, the 81 and the 8 and the 5.
Good reflexes for the 40.
Yeah, great job by Sundale to not pile into that. So the 35 won the race out of pit road. The 40 actually stayed out on this caution, so I guess they don't have enough damage to warrant.
Well, they didn't really touch anyone. I think they touched somebody at the end when they were going at like 20 miles per hour, but nothing. They didn't really actually got in the wall or anything, so probably was fine.
Eddie, you have a report on the 51 Stella Arcadia?
Suffice to say, Stell Arcadia's entire team is not at all happy at Naomi Davenport for that horrible merge that caused the second wreck because Stell, you know, fourth worst in points. Been really hard for her to qualify. She finally makes a race. North Star finally getting all their cars into a race. And they thought they were in the clear after that wreck, and then here comes Abby Buchanan causing a second one that Stell gets caught up on. Um, it might be the entire team, but safe to say at least Stella Arcadia's crew chief and the rest of that team is certainly shooting daggers at anyone working with Abby Buchanan at this moment. Back to you guys.
Alright, so the lights are out on the pace car, so we are going to go back to the green flag here. Hopefully we can get more than one lap under the. Hopefully we can get more than half a lap under the green flag this time. Here we go. Green flag is back out. A great jump by Oswell on the restart. Oh my.
Oh my god. It's gonna be one of those races.
All right, I think I'm gonna need to. I'm gonna throw it back to the studio here real quickly. We're gonna try and redo this because.
Yeah. Maybe 22 miles per hour was a bit too much. Eddie,
Eddie, you
we're
there?
throwing it back to the studio.
We're going back to the fucking studio.
Yes. Nothing has happened. All right. So.
Oh shit! The fucking Matrix things just came out. Okay, gotcha.
All right.
Hold on. Someone texting me thinking it's my birthday, even though it's not. All right.
Drivers, to your car.
Just tell me when to restart.
No, I mean, you can just start talking. This is a studio segment.
Oh, we're in studio.
Yes.
Okay. Well, welcome back to the
Oh my god.
studio. Well, yeah, no, everything's gone
mic
horribly
moment.
wrong. I've suddenly had a massive bout of amnesia and can barely remember the things that have happened in the past 20 minutes or so. Welcome back to the studio. I'm Eddie Debs. Ladovic's down here now through some time manipulation stuff because I did not see you enter the studio at all. I am as confused as all of you guys are, but nevertheless, we're back to the start of this race. I guess that's what we can call it, a free race studio. Welcome to Pikes Peak, 5,558 feet above sea level. It has been, I guess, quite a season for AWSCO, but it's the Ball 250 here in Colorado Springs, Colorado, technically. Ludovic, what do you expect to see out of this race? This fastest half-mile paved oval, whatever they call it. I don't remember.
Well, I don't know what's going to be the weather when we start now, but if the weather is similar, I think we must expect the same thing that we just saw, which is slightly pretty stupid racing. Because honestly, at 24 miles per hour, you can't really control your car when you just get hit by a especially considering it's pretty cold out there. The race is starting pretty late, I believe. Local time, Pikes Peak in Colorado, so it's 8 p.m.
Yeah, and I mean 24 mile per hour wind gusts.
Yes.
Yeah, that can get your car a little shaky if it gets hit full force of it, and I don't know how well these drivers are set to deal with that type of adversity on the track. I guess we're gonna find out these rookies have anything to show for that. I guess the big news coming out of this week is North Star Motorsports got all 4 of their cars in a race for what feels like the first time in forever. Stella Arcadia and Naomi Davenport just kept just not qualifying for stuff. I guess did North Star get let's see, did North Star get all their cars into Daytona? I have to actually look for the one North Star car that's doing well. No, they did manage to get everyone into Daytona, but then again, that's Daytona. Every other race, we've had Naomi Davenport or Stella Arcadia not make it. Kathy Appleton Perez missed a race. Rachel Ramos missed the last one. This has been the um, comedy team, which I guess has also been in part due to the fact that they got penalized 25 points and a heck of a lot of money for what was essentially cheating. Um, what do you make of that? What do you make of this going in? I don't exactly know where they start, but I do know that they're all in it, which is better than anything else.
Well, North Star, yes, they've been pretty bad, but they're not the only big team that have been pretty bad. So, I think they can rebound. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be very hard, especially for some of these some of these drivers who already have 3 DNFs, 2 DNFs. That's hard to come back from. But it's better. It could be Uberman. I think Uberman is in a worse spot than North Star is, because the races they've made it in, North Star has occasionally shown speed, and Huberman really, except for Ashley Johnson, I don't think Huberman has shown a lot of speed this season.
I think Ashley Johnson's best thing is that she's been consistent. She has only one top 10, but she hasn't finished lower than 30th. Um, he is in
Well,
this
finishing
race.
lower than 30th is not an accomplishment, considering I don't even like.
Drivers,
Ashley Johnson is in this race, starting in 16th. I guess you should go over some of the starting front. In case we haven't mentioned already, Eliza Evergreen on the front row. She won at Irwindale. This makes her, in my mind, a threat, but she's on the outside, and on the inside, driver that's kind of been, well, mid this year, Krista Anderson of McMillan Enterprises. Got a top 5 last week, so I guess we can expect her to do good at short tracks, but nothing much outside of that. You could really use this to get into the playoffs, or at least get into playoff contention. Deborah Williams, Reina Munoz round out the second row. Looking on down the inside lane, you've got big names like Mayumi Moriyama and Brenda Davis, but you also got a driver like Eli Ile, who is second to last, having never finished higher than 26th, who starts in a pretty good spot for a 1 miler, where the inside lane is probably going to help more than the outside. Um, what do you expect, Ludovic?
Expect out of what?
Expect out of, I guess, how this front couple of lanes are going to maneuver, maybe this inside lane at the start of this race.
Well, I don't think the inside lane is really that much to worry about. If I was somebody on the inside lane, I'd just go really low at the exit of 2, because if they get hit by the wind, the people behind, and there's also the disturbance of the aerodynamics that would from the cars on the inside. So if they get hit by those 2 things, they can easily just go to the wall and just lose it. And if they come back to the track, it's better to be down to the inside. But obviously, the inside will be better at the start. It's still NR, so yes. But it's more about being careful and avoiding a wreck if you're on the inside, and if you're on the outside. I think the best thing you can do, honestly, is just, and it's gonna seem very counterintuitive, but in turn 1, just throw yourself to the third lane, throw yourself to the high lane. That way, you can just easily slow down if there's something ahead. Because I don't think we're staying green when we're gonna go to the green flag here.
Completely understandable reaction. Well, you're telling us to wrap it up. So from me in the pre-race studio, I'm Eddie Debs. I'll let you go, Ludovic. Have fun in your sprint up to the broadcast booth. And hey, Echo, you got us?
I have you. We're going to accelerate through this really quickly because we totally have not reset. Oh my god. We totally have not you know, this is totally not the second attempt at trying to run this.
Drivers, to your cars.
Lou, what do you think of this track? What do you think of this race? What do you think how we're gonna see this second time going? Except not really.
I honestly, and I don't quite know why you didn't lower the speed of the wind. I think it's gonna still affect the drivers. Hopefully, they got a lower aggression rating,
Yes.
and so we're gonna be able to. They're not gonna throw themselves to the wall as much. But if you know, it wouldn't surprise me if this ends up being a caution fest.
Here we go. The green flag is out. We're racing at Pikes Peak.
Terrible launch for the outside.
Yeah, really bad launch for the 10 of Evergreen. Okay, there we go. Much better. Looks like they've all got a handle on it. Well, I was saying that, and they're going 3 wide here. They are all over the place over here.
Massive start for the 35.
Great start for Andresen. And we keep it green for that first lap. As I'm sure all the people in the other reality. Oh, there it goes.
Oh my
God. Sundale gets hooked around. Reynolds is in the inside wall. Wilson is around. Caution is out.
That seems more like it's 3 wide that ended up going badly out in the wind factor. So
I think so.
you know, it's at least it's a good start, and I think smart decision I think now is to pit. Oh, the 35 is not pitting.
35 staying out. The 96 was trying to stay out, but they got blocked by the 50. They got blocked by the 55. A lot of these cars are cramming up here. Well, let's go back and see what happened. On that most recent yellow flag. 25 of Reynolds. Oh, they were 4 wide up here. That's what happens. The 40 just kind of turns herself there, I think. Yes, and Neil just kind of hooks herself off for 38 there.
I mean, I think I don't think it's specifically the 40. I think it's just.
Yeah, they're
I think it's.
what,
I think.
4 wide there.
Yeah, I think it's just naturally the way that was going to end.
Yeah.
Like, because if the 40 goes back to the inside, it just hits Reynolds, and that could have been even worse. It could have sent both of them to the outside. Wall.
A few cars in that pit entry stack up have removed the front end of that car, like the 62 Vinny Schultz. And you guys talked about it in the pre-race show that Schultz needs to have a good run because he stands outside the playoff cut line right now. That's not going to help. Nobody retired from that, so everyone's still running on track at the current moment.
We got a modified infield now, so it's gonna be very interesting to see just how slow it is and how the leaders deal with lap traffic around here.
Krista Andresen, the Danish driver leading this race. Lynn Oswell is in second. Andersen's led every lap from the pole, so and for Andersen, I mean, this is a race that she needs to do well in because Andersen, you know, came in 26th in points. She got a top 5 last week at Irwindale, but still, that team needs to pick their mojo up. Also, I've received a message from our directors that we want to apologize for any language uttered during the studio segment, as that does not represent the values of this does not represent the values of this broadcast network. So Andersen is the leader. And behind her is Lynn Oswald, Eliza Evergreen, Mayumi Moriyama, and Brenda Davis make up the top 5 as we're going to get back to green flag racing here in just a minute.
Be careful from what the 10 does on the restart. I think that's going to be the main factor here, because if the 35 is allowed to get away like the last time, it might be a very lonely race at first place, but that's what they want. Less competition.
So, pace car's off. It will be Andersen who takes the green flag, leads them to it. But a much worse restart for her this time. Here comes the 96. Here comes the 10.
Great decision.
Backed off of it. Yeah, that's a good decision by the 10 of...
Oh my.
Oh, Akuma. What are we doing? And we're good. Somehow.
And now if they stay side by side for long enough and do it often enough, it might... Oh, but the 64 goes to the inside for third, and that's going to be an interesting one. That 64 car looks great. Yeah, but you know, oh my god.
Six cars pitting.
Penalty.
Still getting the wall, but at least it's not as bad as before. Alright, so Lynn Oswell now to the front. Yeah, it's going to be tough. It's going to be really hard to exit off turn 2 here, just because of the wind. It's going to make things really difficult to race off. You're going to need to be really careful on that corner, especially on exit. If you're on that high lane, you got to be careful. Otherwise, you might just run it straight on the fence. 24 is in. Looks like there was another car that was on pit road as well. Not sure if those cars have received penalties or if they're fixing damage. I think the 24 got penalized, actually. Andersen's dropped back to third as Lynn Osmo is now at the front of the field. Moriyama's second. Andersen, Cassidy Jones in fourth. But here comes Andersen for second.
They shouldn't. They should. I don't think they should battle. I think they should, you know, try to get to first place, because that first place is slowly but surely getting away. And if it gets too far out at a place like Pikes Peak, when it's very windy like it is right now, yeah, it's not gonna be easy going back to the first place. But you know, we're 11 laps into a 250 laps race too, so there's still the potential of something of the caution happening. Doesn't feel necessarily like there's going to be a caution now.
Cassidy Jones now trying to battle Andersen for second, and you know, we do want to congratulate Cassidy Jones. It's been her 18th birthday very recently, and while she ran all of the big tracks before, caution is out. 66 of bracket, and the 84 and 82 are involved, and the 81.
Stack.
Well, I was interrupted.
Didn't it?
Do want to wish her a happy birthday, though.
Yeah, happy birthday. It's oh my goodness, what are they doing? Ooh, that's
up.
Yep, that's there you go. They got it sorted out. Yeah, happy birthday. It's the 18th birthday. You only get that one once. So
yeah. Here comes everyone down pit road. We're going to watch the race off pit road, and then we're going to show you what happened to bring out the yellow flag. See, yeah, multiple cars have retired from that. We've got 4 cars out of the race from that. Oswald wins the race out. Davis and Moriyama. Takamoto IS 4th. Anderson dropped all the way back to 5th, and she came in the pits 2nd, so. See if we can get an eye on what happened there. So the 66, I know, is involved. It might have had something to do with one of the lap cars. But the 82 gets the wall. 04 gets into her. Into the 78. These cars just have nowhere to go.
Great wreck of avoidance by the field there. Could have easily gotten much worse.
Ooh. Wilson just runs right into her. Whoa!
Oh my god.
Wilson spun around. Hageman just had nowhere to go. Big hit to Jennifer Wilson there. That's what happened to those two. Jeez. That's a tough one.
Yeah, and you know, you're really roughed out after these one, but you know, still gotta go out and race next week, except if there's an injury, but I don't think there'd be an injury for that, so. Yes, I mean, it's unfortunate, but you know, there's gonna be payback in a few weeks for that, I'm pretty sure.
Eddie, what's up on the 60? Do you have a report on Jennifer's condition?
Well, yeah, I've been following Jenna ever since the car got towed. Seems like she was able to get out of the car, you know, under her own will, got transported to the medical center. She's still in there, but it's safe to assume that she'll be all right. Just going to run the medical test to make sure there's no concussion symptoms, the whole shebang. Something I find a bit ironic, though, as I was watching that crash back, Sandy Martell, currently sitting last in the standings, ends up getting involved in a wreck with the person currently leading the standings, which is Chet Brackett. So, yeah, we're really having a all-encompassing bit of wreckage so far today. Back to y'all.
The 96 is leading. Lynn Oswell, if you notice that the 96 actually has Ball Corporation on the wheel well of that car. They're actually the sponsor of this race. Green flag is out. We are back to racing at Pikes Peak. 35 already going for third.
Now that's the important part. Going out of the corner, ooh, not a great exit for the 35. You know, at the back, yeah, they're fine. But
Just making sure.
yeah.
Sure we're all good back there.
But yeah, the 35 with not a great exit. Maybe the 64 can clear. That'd be necessary. If I'm the 96, the 54, I'm just trying to get into the race rhythm mode. Considering there's like half the cars that don't have competitive speed here. There's gonna be as at the back. They almost wrecked there. They need to be very careful. They need to be less aggressive. It's lap 18. Come on, guys. Well, come on, girls. It's girls. But yeah, they need to be a little bit less aggressive. At 35 now, losing spots. That's not good at all. As is that 64. Oh, the 55 is moving their way through the field, and now they need to be careful. I don't get why they get that close to the other car. I don't get it. It's not a high speed a long oval, so it's a high speed oval, but it's not a long oval, so you don't side draft doesn't get as much into it as it would at other tracks.
I mean, the aero is still important here. Like, this is definitely a track where aero does matter. I don't think it matters as much as it does in other places, but
on lap 20, you're just risking it by going that tight with the other car. And just outside of immediately wrecking, if you first ride another driver and that driver is behind you in 50 laps time, might not be as clement with you and might try to shove you on the outside wall. And if you're on the outside wall here, you lose a bunch of places and you're not necessarily in the discussion for the win after that. 96 with a great restart, still in leading, and honestly... Yeah, the 10 is coming, but honestly, they just sort of shuffle for second continually, but nothing for first. I think the 96 is just hitting all its apexes, and once you're doing that, it's pretty hard on this track to comeback, especially when they keep battling at the back here.
Yeah, they keep fighting here for second, and that's not really helping them.
55 with a terrible exit out of the corner. That might help the 10, get out of that battle. And we'll see now that they're well, if the 10's able to keep out of that battle. Well, no, it's not. It's not because it had a bad turn 3 and 4, and here goes the 55, and here goes the same story. And but in that time, the 96 keeps leading laps, keeps leading. Oh,
Had a bad exit. The 35 had a bad exit there. Williams trying to get second, and Williams is gonna take it, and Williams is closing in on Oswell for the lead. It's now a Dark Horse Racing 1-2 at the front of the field, so. And Williams is really looking on Oswell here. Eliza Evergreen, been impressive this season. Won the pole at Daytona. She won her duel at Daytona, and she won last week at Irwindale. Here we go, battle for the lead. Williams on Oswell, 55's trying to take it away.
and there you go. Williams able to catch up to first place, and if I like that call from the 96. I don't think it's a terrible call to just let off and let the 55 go ahead. It's a teammate, and you're trying to save tire, you're trying to save fuel, especially if they're still gonna stay green for a long time. So yes, I don't think it's a terrible call. If they start to alternate, they just need to be careful not to get cars from other teams being able to catch up to you and maybe get those positions.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing that right now because the 11 of Takamoto Aya, she's in that Inverness racing car. She's up here. She's moved up to third. And I mean, Aya's not had a great season. She failed to qualify for a couple of races, but the last 3 weeks, Aya's been able to get top 20 finishes. She had an 8th place at Irwindale last week. Aya's kind of picking things up once more. And, Aya's one of those drivers that had been mentioned in the Open where, making a name for themselves. Aya's also one of those drivers who's trying to make a name for herself, and she hasn't really done the greatest job of that this year, but she's moved up to second, and she's running pretty solidly right now.
I'll say this: we've started the season with a couple of less conventional races, and now well, I wouldn't call Pikes Peak conventional, but California, Las Vegas, that's more conventional races. So it's better to run well at places that are normal than to run well at Daytona or to run well at Nazareth. So I think I don't. If I was a team director at that team, I wouldn't necessarily start pushing to have a change there. As there you go, that's a battle for fourth there, and the 96. I don't know.
Ooh.
Maybe other stuff too much. When the 96 with a great exit out of turn 2. That's impressive. We haven't seen a lot of the outside drivers getting a good run off turn 2. So maybe if. In the 11 now, going for the race lead. Or, what was that? What was the trajectory? And oh my goodness, they're gonna go side by side here, and they're almost wrecking. What are they doing? It's top 30.
They both missed the corner there, and both almost got on the wall, but Aya just was able to get just a little bit better trajectory. They're gonna catch the lap car of Luxakuma.
What is the That's a terrible call to go to the outside there. Might cost a lot. That's. Well, the 11's gonna have a bit of a gap now.
Yeah.
I think the 11's gonna have.
96 just got on the wall.
I think the 11's gonna have 3/4 of a second, which is gonna be pretty good. So now I guess if you're the 55, just try to build that gap again.
Aya leads Williams, Evergreen, Andresen, and Jones. Abby Buchanan sitting 7th. I'd like to also interestingly note, the tires don't really fall off that much here. Takamoto Aya has our NordVPN fastest lap of the race right now, and having having the fastest lap, that's worth an extra point. That's worth a bonus point towards the championship. So obviously it's still early. We're only about 33 laps. We're only on lap 33, but I think that's a pretty good sign if you're the 11. You got a fast car early in the going.
Yeah, it's a good sign. I don't think it's entirely legitimate. I think that some of it is also just the way the racing has been going here, and honestly, the drivers are making a lot of mistakes, and that's fine. We would expect it with that kind of weather. They just need to maybe calm it down a little as the stint is going on longer. Try to get a little bit of I guess train racing, but yeah. Oh, yeah, I like what the 59's doing here. The 59 trying to make a push though. Maybe try to get out of that 2 seconds gap, which the 59 is doing right now. And you're gonna be good. As there you go. Oh my goodness, the lap car again. Lap car again, and then Williams gonna start to get frustrated here.
Williams has been held up by lappers twice now, and Williams had caught the 11 there right up to that moment, and now Williams is going to lose all that ground again. And I mean, if you're Deborah Williams, you got to be frustrated. You know, the lap cars are hurting your chances at running for the lead, and now you got a really fast car in the 4 right behind you as well here.
Yeah, definitely. You know who's liking that? The 11. The 11 just keep getting in front, and if I don't know when's the last lap car, but if they start battling again and are able to catch another lap car pretty quickly, which doesn't look like it, but
yeah, the 95 I think is at a much better pace. Let's see, the 95 is running about a second off the leaders at times. So, and these cars, let's see, what was the 51 running? They're running like 2 seconds off, so.
Well, the 95 is going to be very dangerous once we caught back up to her, because
yeah. She won't be
there's going to be able to battle at that speed.
I mean, I think at some point, you know, when you catch the tail of the field, because at this track is so short that you do end up catching the tail end of the field if the run goes long enough. I'm just not going to worry about that.
Yeah.
You do end up catching the tail of the field when the run goes long enough. That's where I'm going to start being like, you know, that's where it's going to be really important to get through lap traffic, get through very quickly, and be able to make your moves and hold on.
Definitely. I think at some point it just becomes a game of chess, really, of trying to overtake the lap cars at the right time, which is not in turn 2, non-turn 1 and 2, turn 3 and 4. That's where you want to overtake them.
Yeah.
Or maybe the backstretch if there's still enough, but usually just cars that are lapped on pace aren't like that slow. So
I mean, yeah,
it's gonna be.
You have a headwind coming out of 4.
Yes. But it doesn't seem to be affecting that much the drivers, though.
Yeah.
I would say that. It's yeah. As the 4 keeps battling with the 55, and that's not what they want to try to do. The gap, they had managed to reduce it to about 2 tenths to 3 tenths, and now it's back up to about half a second. I don't quite know what's the strategy here. Maybe a theory could be that maybe there's just what they call dirty air because of the wind. That can happen when the wind's strong enough, and it might be the case today that it's just breaking their headwind when they need it, so they keep overtaking, hoping that they're gonna get a clean run. But oh my goodness, that's a completely missed apex again by the 55. It's been a couple of times now to just run completely wide, and need to stop doing that very quickly, or it's gonna end up it's gonna end up costing a lot at some point.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're seeing here with these cars that having the apexes have been very hard to hit, especially in turn 2. Like they've been sliding up quite a bit. Seeing the 59 has caught up to both of these cars. Adam Buchanan is up here now. There's Anderson still sitting in 5th. Anderson, who started on the pole, still running in a respectable position.
Yeah. I also. Oh my God! The 55's almost got turned here, and the 59 now is back in it. The 59, where was it before? And there you go. There you go. The 11 is caught the 95. That's gonna be very Oh, and there you go. It's an easy overtake to do.
This is gonna be where this is gonna hurt the 55 again. She's not gonna catch the 95 in a great spot here. Yeah, actually, she might be okay.
Avoided the worst.
Yeah.
And I think turn 3 is really the great part to overtake. So, actually, I think it definitely didn't help the 55. I think the 55 lifted to avoid meeting the 95 in turn 2 because that would have been disaster. But yes, that's a perfect moment. And well, the 11 now is
going to be the 6 again here. So, I mean, the 6 is running off the 6 is pretty well off the pace. That car is just trying to make laps. You'll notice that they brought a pretty hard tire. It doesn't really fall off that much. And
yeah,
you know, at some places having a softer tire makes for better racing, but here having that harder tire is what actually makes for the better race. At least that's what Goodyear has adjudged for this track. So, you know, we're going to see a big difference in tire compounds this year. There's going to be some places that have a really soft compound, and there's going to be some places that have a really hard compound.
I will point out the low temperature with the harder compound and the wind doesn't help the handling at all. So that might be part of the issue. Oh, the 11 is caught at a terrible time. The 6 here.
Yeah.
And that gap's gone.
55's closed right back up. Evergreen's gotten by Anderson for 5th. I'd just like to point out as well, Takamoto Aya started this race 17th and made it to the lead on just about lap 30. So making up that many positions in that short amount of time, pretty good for the driver of the 11.
Yeah, it should be satisfied with that.
Pretty much everyone else up here started in the top 10. If you find the next car that didn't start in the top 10, you'd have to go to the 04.
I think that one of the most consequential moments of the race is going to be that next pit stop that we're going to have here, because that's the time they're going to do the adjustments, and they need to do a lot of adjustments because everyone's missing the apex here. So really, who's going to have the best adjustment might be just who wins today, because they're losing so much time in that turn 2.
You know, turn 2 is really, really tough just because you got a tailwind there. Also, I'd like to point out, there's Izzy Oberman. Started last. Both of the prior races, she started last. She ended up winning. And for this 93, up to 17th. So, you know, made up half the field already. The 35 is coming to pit road. I'm not sure if that's an issue. We'll have to see, but this does not feel like it's scheduled.
What's the, do we know the pit window here?
It should be about 80 to 100 laps, somewhere around there.
That's probably not scheduled. Or if it's scheduled, it's an interesting strategy called. Could be good if we stay green until the end. That could work out. But for the moment, doesn't seem to be a good idea.
So yeah, the 35 is still on pit road. She's gonna fall at least a lap down here. Aya is in the lead. Not sure where the 4 of Cassidy Jones went. She dropped back a lot. She might have gotten in the wall a little bit.
I think she got blocked by by the lap car that we had.
That also could be it. Yeah, they're catching the 45 here of Liz Roberts. That's the next car they're going to be putting a lap down. There's Kieta Yoko sitting 6th, Ile in 7th, Noriyama,
With a damaged
Race,
car.
and Ramos. Who is it, David?
Miele's running in 7th with a damaged car. That's very that's very good.
Yeah, that car, it does have a bit of damage there. You're right.
That's interesting. That means maybe Aero not as bad as we thought. 64, and so that's planned. Maybe that means that's just when the pit cycle starts. That's interesting.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that one. We'll have to see if we can get a word from our pit reporters down in the pits. Oh, jeez.
Oh my goodness, that's the worst time, and the 55 is just behind. But again, you see that the 55 and the 59 there, exit of turn 2 just went wide. It seems like the 11 has something in maybe in her setup that just means she's able to take that turn 2 better than everyone. And honestly, at that point, yeah, again, it might be just what makes the 11 just win, well, lead like that. We're pretty far away from the win, but at least lead like that a lot.
5 cars on pit road. That we'll see if they follow up. There's a lot of cars coming to pit road right now. Oh, the 44 is in the wall. Hard hit for Lulu Connie. Caution's out, and Brenda Davis. I don't know what the 54 was doing there, but.
And the 35 screwed.
Yeah, the 35 got hurt by that big time. Here comes everybody else to pit road, unsurprisingly. 45 car of Liz Roberts is going to be the free pass. Yeah, everyone's going to come to pit road here.
I mean, they're 5th lap into their tire run, so we would expect that.
Yeah. Eddie, what's up on the 35? Do you have a report?
I do. Seems like it was an oil leak on that car. I ran over to the pit lane. They were fixing it. Crew seemed like they were getting it done. They were pretty optimistic, and then caution lights went out, and oh boy, did all their faces just dropped. They managed to get it patched up. They think they're going to be able to get that car back on the track, but time, as Ludovic said, they are screwed, and from what I saw around the pit lane, they're making it increasingly obvious that they are all their hopes are dashed. Back to you guys.
Yeah, thank you. 35's coming back to pit road here, so they're going to forego the.
That's not a great call.
They're gonna forego the wave around here, which I'm not sure I agree with that call because you just came to pit road, you just put tires and fuel in it. 55 car.
Well, if there's a fuel leak, maybe the fuel leak's not totally fixed and they want to work more on it.
Maybe.
Which, yeah, would be a good call. In that case, but
Rachel Ramos, I believe, stayed out. She chose not to pit here.
That's not a great decision.
A questionable call as well. Yeah.
Well, watch out for that 2 car to just get incredibly wide. Oh, the 11 didn't win the race off pit lane.
Yeah, the 55 won the race out, so the 11 dropped back to 3rd here.
It's very interesting. But yeah, watch for that 2 to just. Oh
time.
Well.
Maybe they just missed their box.
Unfortunate.
Well, a couple cars it looks like are going to stay out here and take the wave around. Looks like the 5 and the 64 are going to try and take the wave around here.
Can we do a replay of what happened?
Yeah, give me 1 second. Lights are on the pace car, so we're going to be going back green very, very quickly, so I'm going to try and get this in as quick as I can. 54 was racing with the 44. Lulucani. The 44 was exiting the pit lane.
What was the 54 thinking?
Yeah, the 54 just dives down on the 44 there. I don't know what that was. Just totally unsafe, uncalled for. Let me export this real quick just so that I have something to fall back on.
This is... Yeah, this is very bad. I'm retaining to use the words that I'm thinking of.
Here we go, the green flag is back out and we are racing once again at Pikes Peak. Whoa, the 11 slides up, but the 10 missed the corner as well.
For the race lead.
Oh, the 59, Abby Buchanan. She's going to get down and she'll take the lead away from Williams.
Seems like...
And the caution is right back out.
Oh my god. But... Why?
Might have been the 7 or the 5, I'm not sure. Free pass will be the 35 car, so they'll get their break here.
That's their savior. Could have had it last time if they, you know, made the smart choice, but at least now they got it.
Well, I want to see what happened there to bring out the caution. It might have been the 7. Might have been the 7, it might have been the 5. It looked like the 5 was well off the pace. Yep, it was the 6 and the 5.
See, when I was complaining before about just running extremely tight and trying to do that side, you know, that side draft, that's why I was complaining about it. If you just miss by a couple of centimeters, you're out of it. And these two drivers are gonna probably have some words after it, because I don't know who engaged the side draft, but it wasn't a great decision, especially on a restart where everybody has you know, fresh tires and not necessarily up to temp tires.
Eddie, what do you have on the 5 of Zoe Quinton?
Well, before Zoe Clinton got spun, I was able to talk with her crew chief over the pit break. It did seem like he was just happy they were on the lead lap after all the insanity that occurred. Happy it wasn't Krista Anderson. Said it was a tire down that caused her the problem. But now that I walk by that 5 pit area, they are not happy. That garage is steaming mad at whatever the heck Luck Batuma tried to pull out of turn 2 there. They said that might cost them probably a good finish here.
Yeah, that's tough for them. I think a few cars might have come to pit road, but we also have a few cars that have stayed out here. Abby Buchanan is the leader. I mean, everyone did just hit, so I don't see a reason as to why you would
Maybe, well, you know, they got a few laps of racing. Maybe if the driver realized, oh my goodness, these adjustments made my car worse.
Yeah.
Might have come down to pit lane to try to fix that. Especially considering there's only like 24 cars on the lead lap. You don't necessarily lose a lot by coming down if you're, you know, in the top, if you're like bottom top 10 or high top 15.
Well, it sounds like we're going to get the signal to go green this time, so Buchanan will lead them to it, but I mean, I think we've seen throughout today, if you're the leader on these restarts, you might honestly be disadvantaged just because every restart we've seen, we've ended up seeing a lead change kind of happen right afterwards.
Seems like it's hard to hit that apex when you're the first trying to do it.
Yeah. I mean, if you're curious, Izzy Oberman is 7th now.
Oh my god.
If she's gonna take a 3rd win of this season from the back of the grid, she's not in a bad spot. Green flag is out, and the 55 jumps out for the lead right away. Looks like we're clean through turn 2 there. So Williams will hold the lead. Hopefully we'll get a bit of a long green run here. The 93 now up into 5th, battling with Laura Sundale for that spot. A couple drivers that have won a race this year. Abby Buchanan still sitting 2nd. I mean, for Deborah Williams, comes into this race, she was 14th in points. Had a 4th place finish at Fontana. Came very close to winning that race, but the unfortunate circumstances of that one were that just didn't have the right strategy. The 93 took home that race win on that strategy. Abby Buchanan had a great run at Irwindale, despite the fact that she had no hood left on that car.
They're gonna have a lapper here.
Yeah, the 7 of Reina Munoz, I think, was penalized on the restart.
And that's gonna be a lapper that's gonna be able to fight a little bit if they feel so. Oh, and that's turn 2. That's another great place to catch it.
The 10 of Eliza Evergreen trying to take that 2nd spot away from Buchanan. And she will do so as Evergreen seeks a 2nd straight win. Caution. Oh, the 945 and the 22. I think the 25 of Ableton Perez might have been involved as well. Well, so much for hoping for a green flag run.
And everybody comes down.
Everybody's coming down pit road.
Oh.
These cars are a lap down, I believe. Looks like the 62 will be the free pass car.
That affected that car's gonna be on the lead lap.
Let's try and watch the race down in pit road here. So 55, 10, and 59.
You get 11 at a terrible restart, I just noticed.
Yeah, the 11 dropped way back.
Flames.
But she had a good pit stop here. Back up to 2nd. And here comes all the lap cars. They're all going to pit here as well. '22 and 45 appear to have retired from the race. 62 is coming to pit road here. 62 is just a bit slow, just because when you're Lucky Dog car, you have to line up at the tail end of the longest line. Which, since we only do single file restarts here, she has to line up at the tail end, just in general. So, I'm going to go ahead and check what happened there to bring out caution flag. Naomi Davenport,
It's very wide.
3 wide. Oh, Oswell got spun right in front of her. Got in the 64 Moriyama. Oh!
Oh my god!
Roberts ran right into the front end of that 22 car.
Those modifieds. The thing is, when you don't have enough speed, you just out at the end of the turn two. Like, we haven't talked a lot about this, but if there's such a differential of speed, it's already hard enough to have a clean exit of that corner if you need to brake or to slow down because there's another car that's very slow in front of you. Well, accidents happen, and I think that's what caused it this time.
Yeah.
And I'll say that 96 had didn't give any effort trying to avoid that wreck.
Well, we've got the lights out, so we're gonna go back green here.
On the pace car.
Yeah, lights are out on the pace car. Eddie, what's up? You got a report from the care center?
Well, yeah, I just said after that hit for the 22. I forget who's in it because, of course, I do. Naomi Davenport was immediately thrown into the taken to the care center for concussion protocol. Nothing yet. Nothing on Jennifer Wilson, albeit I've also been running around, so I'll try to get something on her. But safe to say, I think she might be all right. Hopefully.
Green flag is out. We're back to green. I didn't get a great restart, and that's going to let the 59 try and take second. There's the 40 battling with her teammate Ile. Oh, car in the wall. No caution. Oh, that's going to be a caution,
Well, here's
though.
the caution.
64 gets pushed over. Is that a caution?
Fortunate for the 64.
No, that's not a caution. We stay green.
What? That's an arguable call.
That's all right. Okay.
Wow. Well, that 55 had a good restart for once of
Yeah, the leader
a
actually
leader
held
having
the
a good
lead.
restart.
The leader actually held the lead on the restart. That might be the first time we've seen that all race. But here comes the 11. Here comes Aya once again for the race lead.
Watch out for Haya. She was the last car to have a long undefeated really battle at the time at the front. That was about 30 laps ago at this point, so things could have changed. But one of the favorite cars, in my opinion, in these not so early stages of the race at this point.
Yeah, yeah, the 11 has to be one of those cars that is up there. You gotta consider that the 11 car might be the favorite right now, but also, this race still has quite a bit of time to go.
I'll say Buchanan doesn't seem to have a great car, but the driver seems to be doing a great job here today. Might be one of the best drivers, but the car just, I mean, you can clearly see sometimes on the straight here, just doesn't seem to be as quick.
Hey, check out the 5, Zoe Quinn. Remember, they thought they might not be in contention? She's in 5th, and she's caught this lead group now. She was involved in an earlier incident as well, and, I mean, that car looks pretty clean.
Well, and now you need to be careful back there with it. Yes, the 5 being able to do such a comeback may be one of the cars to watch out in the coming laps. If they're able to do a comeback like that, maybe they're able to just run away.
And the 7th
So
has received multiple penalties. Is now up into 9th.
To be fair, how many drivers do we have on the lead lap?
22.
It's not that bad. So still pretty impressive.
Yeah, I mean, I think once we get a long green run, I think that's when we're going to start to see, a lot more cars fall off the lead lap.
Yeah.
I think, once we get a long green run, that's when we're going to start to see more cars fall off the lead lap and, see the lappers kind of affect this race. But for now, it's been pretty interesting, I will say. So Buchanan leads. Sundale has caught up to Buchanan for the lead now as the 40 is up into second. Then it's Williams, Isabella Fitzmaurice up into fourth, and Takamoto Aya is fifth. Ashley Johnson in the 24 is in 10th, so that car's made her way into the top 10.
I'll point out the pack is still pretty tight here. There's a bit of a gap after P1, but otherwise it's I mean the top 10's in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
After what, 20 laps green? 25 laps green at this point?
I think 20 is a bit of a stretch. I think it's been more like 10 laps.
Really?
I think so, yeah.
Huh. Well, because we had... Sure, okay, whatever.
Battling here, that's Reina Munoz and Takamoto Aya. That's a couple Toyotas fighting for the 6th position. I think it is interesting as well. I mean, you know, we talked a lot about the manufacturers earlier in the season, and, you know, contact there, that was tight. But, you know, in Cup especially, the Fords have been very, very strong. But I think one thing you want to also talk about here is the Toyota runs a different model in Cup and Continental. They run the Supra in Continental and they run the Camry in Cup. Do you think that affects their aero program at all?
Unlikely. It's not 1975 now. Nowadays, like most of the thing is just branding. I don't exactly know how Toyota functions as a you know brand. I've never been in a Toyota team before, but maybe they have a bit of an old school approach. You often see that with Asian constructors, but I mean it's not. For the moment, I don't see a reason to believe otherwise. So yeah, I don't think it has that much to do with it, but maybe a little bit. There's a possibility.
Well, Abby Buchanan out front, and she is in a Ford, which I'm not sure if a Ford has won in the Continental Series yet. Yeah, a Ford has not won in the Continental Series, which is a very sharp contrast to their Cup program, which I believe has won 4 races so far.
I mean, the Continental Series has been absolute chaos.
Yeah.
So it's not
Whoa,
they've won pretty well, the Fords. It's not that they're not quick. It's just that you need a bit of luck, and they have none.
They haven't had the luck needed to win, yeah. Krista Anderson, who started on the pole, dropped back from that oil leak earlier in the race. Now she's up to 9th place. I lied, she's up to 8th place, actually.
Liar.
Wow, okay. Eddie, what do you have on Moriyama and Ramirez?
Well, I've been able to check on some radio chatter between the two teams. It sounds like Lori Ramirez is blaming Mayumi Moriyama for the crash, hence why she pushed her down the track, and by push I mean basically bulldozed her out of the way to keep going on the wreck that was considered a caution. She said something over the radio akin to, it's her fault, she just needs to get out of my way. Meanwhile, Mayumi Moriyama, currently, I believe, I've been running around with the care center stuff. I believe the car is now parked. After that flip, seems like she's doing fine. Didn't quite need a care center checkup, but safe to say the 2 playoff drivers getting into each other means both of them are very angry, both at each other and just in general. Back to you all.
Well, I think another thing as well to point out, look at this. These cars all just got bottled up behind these 2 lappers. Now we have like 7 cars all right next to each other. Like everybody just got bottled up. There's 7 cars within a second of each other now. This looks like a plate track the way they're running, but it's Pikes Peak, a 1-mile flat-ish oval, which is, you know, kind of crazy.
Yeah. This is this is a great race. I'll say this. As far as I think it might have something to do with it might have something to do with the many cautions we've had, but still, even with that, it's it's crazy. The entire field is in I don't know exactly how tight the entire field is, but it doesn't seem like it's that spread out too. 11 seconds is pretty good, honestly. And probably some of these cars that are 11 seconds back are damaged.
Yeah.
So I would say maybe the best race of the season so far. Even though the domination's starting to quite set in for the from the 59 and but may not last for long because look at that, it's this 7 here that has managed to cut back a little bit. Seems like though when the second place car is trying to run down to the first place car, seems to get stuck a bit two tenths a quarter second behind the leader often, and that's very interesting. And when it's able to break that barrier and get to a tenth, that's usually when the move happens.
Yeah. Yeah, the
And
dirty
the
air
7
clearly
looks
has-
very close to that.
The dirty air has clearly meant a lot here, but as well, I will say that this has been a pretty fun race despite all the yellow flags. When they go long green, it still runs very, very, very smoothly. Like when we've gone long green in this race, it's been a very fun race to watch, and it's been very interesting seeing all the tactics and just all the different things they've had to maneuver through to get through this race. So Abby Buchanan's still out front, and hey, the good news for Buchanan is she doesn't have to lead with a modified this time.
Yeah, I'll say this. I wonder what's gonna happen strategy-wise, because
Yeah.
there is a lot. The pit window here is based on fuel, basically entirely on fuel. Well, as look at that for third place at 10, man, trying to make a move, not in the greatest corner, but sure. But yes, I mean, these positions. When you're in that pack like that, you're a lot in dirty air, and that can affect your fuel usage. So that's very interesting, and I don't know if they're gonna be able to make it on 2 stints, considering they're basically for the entirety of the race in dirty air. Oh, as they're deciding to go 3 wide here. Oh, okay, the 7 backed out, but that could have been very dangerous, and we don't want to caution now, especially at the front of the field. That could have ended very badly. They're starting to heat up a bit. I don't think it's a great call to heat up when their tires are starting to get even slightly worse at a place like here. They're not. I'll say this: they're not missing their apex as much as they used to at the beginning of the race. I think those adjustments really changed a lot here.
Yeah, I think the adjustments have really helped. They're racing a lot cleaner here through this portion of the race, and it's a very calm race right now. But I think as well as what I'm wondering about for strategy. Do you think anybody tries maybe short pitting so they can get a bit of a gain on strategy? Because let's see, what their fuel window is about 90 laps. They pitted at 75. So what? That would be, they might be able to make it on one more stop, but that would be, I think that's very borderline. Do you think anybody
I don't
tries
think
and
short
pits-
stop.
do you
I think it's
anybody-
not a great call,
do you think
because
anybody-
we've seen that with the 35. Doesn't work. Doesn't. If you're stuck here, and if you get stuck a lap behind, you're just done, because
Yeah.
you can't really get out of that pack. It's basically impossible.
Yeah.
So I don't think anyone would risk getting cut in the caution. I think what the possibility is more people overcutting than people undercutting. But they're gonna already try to stretch it a lot to
Yeah.
make it on one stop. I don't know how long they can stretch it even more than they're gonna try to do now. Maybe they're not trying to stretch it though, because look at that, they're still fighting. They're not trying to save anything. They're just continuing to fight. So maybe they know that they can do it on one stop, and in that case, it's gonna be very interesting, because I think that means they're gonna be able to go aggressive until the end of the race.
Yeah, they might try to stop this. That's why I'm wondering about, like, you know, maybe pitting a little earlier is better if you're trying a two-stop to the end. But also at the same time, you know, like you mentioned, if you get caught by a caution, that really hurts. Like the 35 barely got back up here and is still kind of trying to push her way through these lead cars.
Well, that was an oil leak, so
That is true. The 35 did have a mechanical issue.
yeah. So that, but I mean, yeah. Where's the 5?
5 dropped back quite a bit. I'm not sure.
We saw the 5 up there for a moment, but now
16 now.
316. Then what happened? Maybe, it's very weird.
Might have just kind of fallen off. I mean, maybe she had a short run car, but just didn't have a good long run car. For those watching the live stream, please don't worry about the Windows sounds. That just happens.
She's not getting pirated.
The 59, Abby Buchanan, still sitting out front. And I mean, Buchanan's led pretty consistently since, I mean, the start of this run. I don't think the 59's lost the lead since the start of the run, really.
Yeah. The 55's been able to keep up though.
Yeah,
that's
that might
that's
change
good.
here in a minute because the 55's closed in quite a bit.
I don't know if it's in the best interest of the 55 though, of trying something. Might try to, do it in the pits.
Yeah.
And do they have a points for leading a lap here? Where
Yes.
we're doing most laps?
Yeah, there is so the bonus points, it's 1 point for leading a lap, then you get 2 extra bonus points on top of that for leading the most. And then it's 1 for fastest lap and 1 point for pole position.
Yeah, well, in
So-
that case,
You know, the 35 has already locked up 2 bonus points at this point.
and it's interesting. It's interesting. They might, the 55 might try something.
I could see it. I think the 55's already led a lap. But, leading most laps, those are valuable points. Here we go, fight for third. There's Munoz on Sundale. I mean, there's a couple drivers there that are, there's a couple race winners battling each other. Eliza Evergreen, who won last week in Irwindale, and alongside, Sundale, who won at Nazareth. And Sundale won Nazareth on strategy. I mean, she took the lead by staying out on a late cycle and did not relinquish it.
I point out the 55 is only 14 points to cut above the cutoff, so that could be a good strategy of trying to lead a bunch of laps.
Yeah.
That only can be done though if they deal with traffic well, and that doesn't seem to be something that they fix with their pit stop.
Yeah, I mean, there's quite a bit of time until we get that next stop. If I had to guess, at furthest they'll probably go to around 165 on this fuel run, but you might see them hit a little bit earlier, just because you don't want to run out of fuel on the track. Cassidy Jones in 5th. I mean, another team that I feel like hasn't really gotten a lot of praise, but they've run very well. That Heath Clarkson Racing for the 4 and the 14, both up in the top 14 points. Jones finished 2nd at Nazareth, and Edelstein had a 2nd place at Daytona. I mean, the 14 is still running. Hasn't exactly been a very loud runner in this race, but she has been running. And, in the top 20 right now.
But it's not hard to be in the top 20.
Well, yeah, when there's 20 some cars left. you know,
21 car left.
the 78 has apparently retired from the race. We'll see if we can follow up on that. As we have a move for the lead. Here comes the 55 of Deborah Williams.
Trying to squeeze to the wall, that's a strategy.
And the 7 is closed up on these two as well.
Yep, well that's why you don't want to do it. They both lost a bunch of time here.
Yeah, 59's going to hang on to the lead here.
Oh my goodness, that backfired spectacularly for the 55. Maybe it just wasn't close enough, or didn't have enough momentum to really try it. And now the 7, well, they're gonna go side by side coming into turn 3, and we don't want to be side by side and on the outside coming into turn 3.
Buchanan's going to catch a lapper. That's the 95 car Reynolds. Reynolds actually, that's Buchanan's teammate, so Reynolds going to easily let the 59 go.
7 wasn't able to overtake the 55. That's interesting. Is the tire wear maybe higher than anticipated? At least in terms of end line.
They are losing a little bit of time here. Like, their fast laps were 26. We're around the 26.4, 26.5s, and they're running 27.0s now. So I'm not sure if that's related to the draft or if it's just. I'm not sure if that's related to the draft or if that's just. Just the tires are actually wearing out here.
I will point out that you know, it's getting pretty late here in Colorado, so they need to be quite careful, because I think the outside, the non-racing line could get a pretty bad. Not only in terms of cold, especially at this time of year. It's probably very cold out there in California, in Colorado.
You know, we still come here in March, and you know the snow's kind of still thawing a little bit, especially at you know this kind of high elevation. 55 got a great run off 4 though. Look at this. Here comes Williams back for the race lead, and this might be a better opportunity for her. And Williams will be able to take it away, I think. 59's fighting back.
The 10's back in here.
Yeah, the 10's closed up on this group now. 59's still hanging on the outside, but the 55 did lead at the line.
Look at what is the 7 doing? The 7 just tried. I don't know. I think the 7 tried to get to the inside of the 59, got in the dirty air of the 55, and just lost it mid corner. And that was lucky if they didn't hit the wall there. But the 10 might be in a good spot here, or not. No.
Yeah, I thought the 10 might have been able to get down to 59, but just couldn't do it. 59 does maintain second. Now here's the fight for third. Munoz trying to get that spot back from Evergreen.
I will point out, I think this is the longest green flag run we've had so far, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So this is
you know, the one earlier on the race went about 40 laps, and we've gone about. This is about 50 laps, so this is our longest green flag run of the day. And the 59 takes the lead right
yeah.
back.
So maybe it's the first time we're seeing this. Maybe with old tires and a lower fueled car, maybe it just makes the handling very bad, and so it means that because again that's the issue when they come into turn that switch from turn 1 to 2 with the wind. That's where they just completely lose it because of the wind probably, and that's just yeah. But
right.
Once you're done with that.
So we're halfway in this race, and that means it's time. Lou, you're going to dial into the studio from up here in the booth, and we're going to put it back to Eddie for our FanDuel Fan Studio mid-race reports. What do you two have for us in this one?
Well, I'm back down here in the studio. for our mid-race studio updates presented by FanDuel. And, well, I believe, Ludovic, you said it best. This has definitely been one of the more entertaining Continental races, even though we have lost half of the field. Got a lot of passes for the race lead so far. People have been fighting for it tooth and nail all day to the point of wrecking each other out. What specifically have you seen out of this race so far that is why you think it's one of the best we've seen so far?
Well, sorry, I'm running to the studio. Well, it's very interesting because I mean,
Wait,
you can
running? I
clearly
thought you...
see. You can clearly see that they're very compact. I think they've lost it in the last couple of minutes. I don't have the scoring table in front of me, but the entire field was very close together, and when I mean, all right. All right, here we go.
There
I'm in the
you
studio.
are. Okay.
Hey,
What?
yes.
I thought Echo said she was gonna dial you in. What the? Did something break it up there again?
Yes.
Oh my
So
goodness gracious.
we have very old equipment, but yes, I mean clearly everyone's very quick. Everyone's really able to battle across the entire field, and I mean the 59 keeps leading, which is good enough. But who cares when they're always switching positions for P2, P3? And yeah, it's the greatest race. It's the greatest race.
Yep. I guess some quick updates from the pit road and garage. The 78 of Lexi Rockwood had a piston, sounds like just completely fail, which was the engine failure that has knocked her out of the race. Very bad day for Project Horizon, given their other car did not qualify, so it's a horrible day for that team. Naomi Davenport and Jennifer Wilson have officially been released from the care center. Jennifer Wilson, all clear. For Naomi Davenport, it sounds like they're gonna just monitor her a little bit. Nothing came up. Oh, I'm looking at the TV. What just happened on the TV? Are
Oh
you
my
seeing this, Ludovic?
bejesus! Oh no! Is that a caution? You need to be careful! Oh my god! What is Sundell and the 8 doing?
I don't know. I'm looking around for those yellow lights. I don't know if they're blinking.
I don't think they are. Oh yes, they are.
Oh, they are.
Are they?
Oh
Yes.
boy. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, Naomi Davenport's going to be monitored. Hopefully. Oh, wow, I can hear things. Are they coming down for pits? Oh, they are.
Oh, obviously they are. We've been green for 60 laps. Oh my god! And the 55 has lost it all. In ninth, and we'll probably have to fix some kind of damage. I mean, imagine after that. That was crazy. What were they thinking? They had a long green flag run, and look at that. Now it's gonna be a 2-stopper. Well, a 3-stopper, I mean, because look, we're not long enough to go until the end of the race quickly. Clearly.
Yeah. Yeah, Naomi Davenport, you will be monitored for now. They think that she's good with no concussion symptoms, but they just want to wait around, make sure, or give her 24 hours to kind of chill around as we see things are coming back to green. It's kind of deafening over here with all the noise from the pit stops. Everyone taking their tires and gas. 59 out there. I guess we'll just go quickly to the so we can get back to, well, so Echo can get back to it. FanDuel fan picks seems like the 59 and the 11 are the names that are kind of running around everywhere in terms of betting odds. But Ovik, if you had to choose, who would you pick to win this race?
The 10. It's been there a long time, hasn't led. Think maybe saving saving what they do until the end of the race, because these drivers they catch up with what kind of moves you try, and the 10 hasn't tried anything really. So maybe they're just waiting to the end of the race to show their cards.
It's understandable for me. I say I'm probably gonna go with bad stop for as soon as I was about to talk about her. That's a great sign. But I'll go with Reina Munoz in the 7. I like the underdog. Reina's KFC car has been up there at least these past couple of laps, and at this point, all you got to do is really be up there. And
you're talking about the car that has completely fell off since the start of the long, of the run.
Listen, hear me out. It's gonna work out. Trust me. I ain't putting actual money
Sure.
on this. I don't got enough money to do that. Don't worry. But we're going to say that's all for now. Ladovic, you have to run again, so we'll see you later.
Yeah. So yeah.
But Ladovic's going to be trained enough to beat Usain Bolt in the race by this point. But we're going to send it back up to Echo for the next 115 or so laps of this race, and where we will see a winner here at Pikes Peak International Raceway.
All right, yeah, thank you, you two. I'm gonna have to, for my FanDuel fan pick, which I'm gonna make one as well. You know, we just saw the 55 got spun. I don't think she has that much damage. She's up in 4th. I think the 55 wins this race anyways. She's been fast all race. She's been pressuring the leaders all this whole time, and I think the 55 is gonna be the one who's gonna win this race. All right, well, let's take a look. Let's look at what happened to the 55. Seven got the wall just a bit, just kind of hooks the 55 there.
Man, that
Great job.
wasn't a great call.
Yeah, great job. Great job by the rest of the field to not run into that car. All right.
Yes.
Here we go.
Oh, the 10.
We are back to green, and we got to move for the lead already. Here comes Evergreen.
That was a great jump off the line.
Here comes Williams, looking for that 3rd position.
And Williams might be a bit upset about that 7 now.
Yeah,
I don't know if
maybe
that
just
7's
a
gonna
little
come back up to the front of the field until the end of this race, but if it does, watch out. Watch out. We might have some sparkles there.
bit. Whoa, they're all real tight. Here comes the 93 of Izzy Oberman. 3 wide to the inside.
The 59 and the 10 are gone.
59 and the 10 have really pulled away here. Here, watch this 93. She's fast right now. The 11 is way up in the wall. And Evergreen. Evergreen is the leader. And Izzy Oberman, I mean, once again, Oberman has to just get a shout. Running 3rd now, started dead last. The 3rd time she started dead last. I mean, I'm sure that we'd be disappointed if she finished anywhere other than 1st after starting last, especially after this kind of run, but, you really can't be.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, probably. I mean, oh my goodness, it's just so, wow, the gap has been made so large so quickly. It's gonna be very hard for anyone to come back to that pen, except if there's a caution in, the next 30 laps. At least that's what we've seen, since the start. And that 59 doesn't have help, which makes it even harder.
Yeah.
Because it can easily go back to a quarter second, and then it gets in that dirty air and won't be able to make any move if it doesn't have anyone behind it. So it's gonna be very difficult.
Deborah Williams, the 55 car here, looks pretty fast. I mean, clearly that spin did not hurt her.
Yeah. But now she's battling with the 93. She got to pass the 4. It's not impossible, clearly, but it's Pikes Peak's not very the kind of racetrack, especially in that temperature when you do that kind of comeback easily. Yeah. But hey, they still have 2 pit stops. Well, no, they still have one more pit stop to go.
Yeah.
So
this is an easy one-stopper here. There's not really much. Yeah. The questioning here is more so, this is a one-stopper. 35 of Krista Anderson appears to have quite a bit of damage. I'm not sure what happened to that car. But
Unfortunately, they were having quite a bit of pace.
Yeah, they had quite a bit of pace, but I noticed that they took the wave around. They took the free pass on the last caution.
Maybe the league got worse.
Maybe. That car appears to have no rear end. They don't have the bumper cover's been taken off, so. I want to give a shout as well, Kate Summers in the 8 car. Summers has had a really horrific run of things in this West Coast swing. Wrecked out in 3 races, wrecked hard in a lot of those races. Didn't qualify at Irwindale, but she's recovered quite nicely. Summers is up into the 6th position in this race. And this is the kind of recovery drive that she needs in that 8 car. So we're gonna give you how everything looks, and tomorrow at 11 o'clock p.m. very late, but we'll be at the Denver Motorsports Park. We're gonna christen that track with its first AWSCO Cup Series race, the 2.28 mile super speedway, but it races like an intermediate. It's kind of like Fontana, but it's just a little bit bigger. It's a lot flatter, and it's a lot wider. You got a lot more room to move around at Denver. That track just south of the Denver International Airport, so it'll have a scenic backdrop, and next week we'll be going to Phoenix Raceway in Avondale, Arizona. The Continental Series and the Cup Series will both be there. Hope you will enjoy that race at Phoenix as much as you can. We hope to see you there, and maybe we'll see a bit of a continued narrative as the
gap
season keeps going.
Gap for first place now is a second. And the gap between second and third place is well, oh my goodness, it decreased a lot this time by. What is the Ford doing?
I think the reason why the gap increased so much is because they had to get past the lap car, the 35 of Anderson. That's
interesting. That might propose the 4 up to second place, and if there are 2, then they can start thinking about getting back to that race lead. As that's a pass for 8th, and those are cars that we haven't really seen all race long. That have been performing, bottom top 10, high top 20, have high low top 15. So yeah, these are cars that have been somewhat there.
Yeah.
Those are good points there.
Rachel Ramos, who led a lap earlier under the pit cycle because she stayed out on the first lap of the pit stops, and then on the first lap of caution flag pit stops, and then came to pit road the second time by. Doing a pretty solid job right now towards the front of the field. Kate Summers just got by her for 8th. The 8 car fell back a little bit from the last time we talked about her, but she's still up here. Reina Munoz sitting in 10th. I mean, Munoz got into the 55, and ironically, even though the 55 was the one that spun from that, I think the 7 is the one that's been worse off because she's back in 10th right now, and she hasn't really been able to make up that ground. Whoa, the 10 got held up big time. Here comes the 59.
Oh my God!
Wow, the 10 really got held up.
What a fumble!
I'm not sure what that was, but the 10 just lost everything. They had almost a second lead, and it's gone. Not even the leader anymore. Not even second. Here comes Cassidy Jones.
That was some of the worst racing I've seen in a very long time, and it's not because they wrecked. It's because it was very stupid. How do you not overtake that car? I don't care. I don't care if you have to shove it into the wall, but if you're a second ahead, you should not lose a second because of one lapped car. That is a very that is a skill issue, as the youth says.
So Cassidy Jones now has gotten around Buchanan, and the 4 car is now up to the front of the field. But she slides up in the corner. Here comes the 59. Buchanan fighting back on Jones. Evergreen sitting 3rd. Williams is now 4th. They've just passed the 51 of Stella Arcadia. That's another lapper. I think as well, something that we might see here is that during the later on in the run, as the tires wear out, I think you're gonna start seeing at that point, when the tires wear out, the outside lane just gets better as the tires, wear. We saw that in that last stint, and I think we're gonna see it in this one.
It's because they're able to just basically keep it, well, not flat out, but keep it, at a continuous clean speed in turn 1. Well, yeah, when they're running the very bottom lane at the beginning of the thing. But as the thing goes on, they're just starting to have to brake a little bit more. Their car just stops going as straight as it's going and starts being a bit wild. And I think that profits a lot to anyone that decides to go outside. And that's how you're not gonna be able to overtake by the outside, but you can definitely protect by the outside at the end of the run.
Evergreen battling Jones for second now, as Buchanan's taken that first spot back. Williams has closed in on this group, so now we got a bit of a 4-car race for the lead now.
And the 55's not gonna have to push a lot, and it's gonna be able to have maybe a little bit fresher tires. Doesn't matter now. It matters in 20 laps when they start wearing out a bit.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, everyone pitted under the caution, so everyone should have the same laps on the tires.
Yes, but again, that 59, that 10, that 4 had to push a bit to either keep in front or to catch to the front. So maybe that 55 that just came back here very naturally didn't really had to make that much of a gap back. Maybe they can keep it. Oh, and it's. I just noticed. Now we're starting to see a little bit more of your normal intermediate racing with a 5-second gap between first and 10th. That's
yeah,
slightly unfortunate, but it's what happens from time to time. That's 11, sadly, not able to keep up with the leaders.
11's not there with the leaders right now, but there is a possibility that she could close in, if they get involved with a lap car or something like that. This is a battle for the 7th spot. Summers is trying to get around Oberman on the outside. The 8 car is able to make this pass stick on the outside lane. I think that would be very, very telling as to what kind of speed this car has, but it looks like she's not going to be able to do it.
Yeah. Even if that car has speed. There's only 90 laps left, so it's going to be very hard to... And hey, there's only 90 laps left. I just realized that. So now, if we get 95... No, 85. I'm
85,
stupid.
Yeah.
Yes. So if there's a caution now, that's it. No pit stops until the end of the race. So that's...
Yeah.
I think I would be extra careful for the next 50 laps just to avoid doing something stupid and getting caught a lap back, and just... That's the end of the race. No really opportunities for you to come back.
So Buchanan holds the lead right now, but Evergreen is closing in. I mean, I feel like the 10 is probably the fastest car right now. I think the 10 is definitely faster than the 59. You saw it with the amount of gap she was able to pull earlier, and now, yeah, here comes Eliza Evergreen, looking for the race lead once again. And remember, Evergreen won last week in Irwindale, so for Evergreen, if she can get a second consecutive win, That would be huge. And that's going to drag the 4 and the 55 right back into this mix as well. Here comes Jones looking for second.
And if they start battling like that, the battle for the lead won't last for long though. So, oh, and the 59, not a great exit at all.
I think the 59 just gave it up. Don't want to push it that hard.
Well, if she wanted to give it up, they could have given up, you know, mid corner at least. That would have guaranteed a slightly better exit.
55 now is up here as well. Deborah Williams. Takamoto Aya still up in 5th spot, but you know, dropped back a little bit. About 3 seconds behind the lead is Aya, but I mean, still nothing to scoff at for the 11 car. She's had a great run. This is the kind of run that that team needs, especially considering how they've run pretty much the rest of the season. I mean, if you run good at a track like this one, pretty good.
Yeah. I'll. 55 isn't. Honestly, the 55 is not pushing it. I'm quite surprised.
Yeah.
55, I thought would be pushing it a little bit more. Maybe you know, just outside of outside of pragmatic strategy, maybe maybe a little bit more aggressive, just because she'd be upset after what happened. But no, able to have a bit of discipline. That's always good to have. Oh, that 59, great block here. And generally the 59 seems to be the best car at blocking today, and that's a good thing. Because it's something you don't really learn. It's something you just have in you, and you don't have in you.
Yeah, and I mean, Williams is still kind of pushing the 59 there, pressuring her, but Williams just can't really get underneath. Can't really make it stick. This group back here, this is 7th through 10th. Munoz, Summers, Oberman, and Yoko. I mean, looking for who else is up here. There's Isabella Fitzmaurice in 19th. That 38 car is a lap down. She is the first car lap down, so for the 38 car, if there were a caution, that car would get the free pass and get back on the lead lap. Evergreen still sitting second. Williams has gotten by Buchanan for third. At least he's trying to get by. I think Buchanan's going to stick on the outside for just a little bit longer. They're going to catch his lap. They caught the lap car of the 6 once again. And the good news for Evergreen is the 6 did not hold her up a lot this time. The 6 did hold up to 55 though. Oh wow. Yeah, the 55 is not able to get by very cleanly right now.
That's
gonna hurt.
See, that's why I advocate to have the minimal speed for all racetracks. It's a skill issue, but that 6 has just been causing problems at the start of the race. And honestly, I mean, yes, if you're that 55, it's your skill issue. If you're that 59, you can't really do anything.
Yeah.
You're just stuck behind the 55 until the 55 decides to move around. So it's yeah, they need to do something about that. And by that, I mean obviously AWSCO. The drivers can't really do anything.
Yeah, the drivers can't really do anything at that point.
But look at that, the gap now is a 1.5 seconds, so that's gonna be...
Yeah, it's dropped back and they're battling side by side now, so it's not gonna...
Yeah, no,
it's only gonna increase.
It's not... I wouldn't say it's over, but it's gonna be very, very hard for the 55 and 59 to come back. And now they're getting, you know, they're slowly but surely getting caught back by the 11. The 11 who's running alone has been running alone for the entirety of this race. So
here comes the 4.
they shouldn't try to go side by side at this point.
I think the 4
just
was
wait.
looking, but the 10 blocked. 10
That's-
blocked the lane off there.
That's good.
with the adjustments
I
that
don't
have been
exact.
made to these cars, I mean, I think that the racing has been a lot better. You know, early
Yeah.
on it was very hard. It was very hard to get around. It was very, it was difficult for everyone to make moves.
Definitely.
We're sliding around in these corners so much more. But now with this, whoa, the Ford goes way wide there. But with how they're running now, I think you're gonna see a lot. It's gonna be a lot more competitive here as the 2 car got the wall pretty good there.
Ooh, and yeah, the 2 car's just losing a lot. And if they, huh?
The 38 is like pushing in these positions, which is kind
What
of
is-
weird because the 38 is a lap down.
Sure. I mean, maybe the 38 just some. Maybe it, and why is the 38 a lap down? Because they were in Iraq, or
I don't know.
because if it's a strategy call, that could be interesting. That could be interesting to watch.
Because I know they got the wave around on the last caution, but they're still scored 1 lap down, so they might have just been involved in some issue that trapped them a lap down.
Interesting.
We've been green for about, what, 50 laps now? 45? So...
Yeah, so we're getting to that point where when they visibly start to wreck every time we've had a 50 lap green flag run, they've wrecked.
Well, what, we went about 55 last time? 60?
Yeah. And then that was about also what we got the time before when there was a wreck.
Yeah. So, if we go past 60 laps, that starts to become uncharted territory. And the 4 is still there, pressuring the 10, but, at this point...
59.
At this point, I feel like at this point we're absolutely assured that that this next pit stop will be the final one.
Surely. Except if we get a very late caution and somebody tries to bet. But, I mean, 55, 59, I just want to say, yeah, they're gone. They're not in the battle anymore, except if we get a caution.
Yeah.
2.5 seconds. In what? In 70 laps? Maybe if you have a great pit stop.
Yeah.
But, otherwise, it's basically impossible, and they keep losing time. That's the hard thing too.
Yeah, they're losing time now just because they don't have the draft of these cars to catch up with. Evergreen.
Yeah.
And I mean, Eliza Evergreen has to be considered if she can hang on to this one. I would say she has to be considered a favorite as the season goes, just because sitting in the lead, if she wins 2 in a row, I mean that's a statement.
Yeah, but it's Irondale and it's Pikes Peak. It's not those. Well, maybe Irondale a bit, but those are not extremely conventional racetracks.
There are a lot of short tracks on the schedule, to be fair. So
That's a fair point. Yeah.
and these two.
It's kind of hard when. Oh God, and they keep going battling again, and the 11 might get back in that battle for third now. Oh, the 4.
4's lost quite a bit of time here, yeah.
Ooh.
4 just slid back a lot. Curious about the NordVPN fastest lap, it has not changed. It is still the 11 of Takamoto Aya who has it. That has not changed since the start of the race. So
Probably.
Aya in position for that bonus point at the moment.
Probably will change if there is a are the caution lights on, or am I dreaming?
You're dreaming.
Okay. Okay, they're green. It's just that my colorblindness fools me.
There.
Yes. But the fastest lap will probably change once we do that final pit stop, and they have less fuel on board with new tires. I would imagine. So. Oh my goodness, the 11.
Oh yeah, the 11 has caught up to these two. That's the thing is, once we get that final stop, I think that's when we're gonna see everyone kind of show their hand.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Caution!
And if they...
Caution is out.
Oh no!
The
Oh!
12 of Kennedy and the 93 of Oberman. Ashley Johnson's involved.
Well, that's where they... Oh, and there you go, one coming in.
Yep, here comes
Obviously.
everyone to pit road. I mean, no surprise
So they
here.
can't... They basically cannot get over 50, 60 laps of green flag racing.
Yeah.
For some reason.
Yeah, we had just raged. That was the 55th lap of the run, and once again, there was an incident. .42 of Freya Lundqvist is the free pass car. We'll check out what happened there. This pit stop is going to be crucial.
I wonder if any of the lapped cars will try to not pit. Could be a good call, because usually when you get a caution, you get another one right after.
10 car wins the race out. I don't know where the 12 is going.
Did the 12 get the waiver? Oh, no.
No, the 12 just stopped and towed on track. I think the 12 was confused about what position they were in.
They just gave up.
Yeah, something like that. I'm gonna get an export just so that.
Hey, that means the 59, the 55, the 11. All of these cars are back into battle now. So.
Yeah. I will also keep in mind here as well that we still have. You know, there's still over 50 laps to go. It is a possibility that we get a, you know, with how they've been racing, if they wreck again after 50 some laps, this race either could end on a very late restart, or it could just end under caution.
One of these two would be more disappointing than the other.
Well, yeah, obviously I don't think obviously the fans don't want to see a race end under yellow. So let's see. Who was involved in that? Oh, the 93 was involved in that.
Yeah, the last two first round is not happening again.
Yeah, it's not happening again. Okay, so it looks like it was the 12 and the 5. That was actually a lap car and the 10th car. That's the second time the 5 has been taken out by a lap car. In that same corner, too. And the 35, I think, just plowed into this one.
That's a no effort move.
Ooh.
Well, I don't know, the 55. Yeah, that's ridiculous.
The 35, yeah, just drove right into that one. That was not smart. Well, the pace car is off, or the pace car lights are out. Lights are out on the pace car. I would also like to point out that the 25 keeps restarting in the top 10, but falls back. But, you know, that car is obviously a modified, but that car has been actually, like, good at, you know, they've had really good pit stops all race.
Yeah. I mean, it's easier. They don't have to do adjustments since they don't have, you know, things to adjust.
Yeah. Well, the things
So.
they need to adjust is, kind of unadjustable. Alright, we're back to green, and a great jump for the 10. And yeah, you see right there, that's what being a modified does. That car is not exactly the fastest in the corners right now.
The 10 getting a good restart. That's only the second time this race has happened.
Yeah, that's only the second time we've really seen the lead car get that good jump on the restart. just to mention, with how the pattern of this race has been going, with it being, a caution every 55 laps or so, AWSCO officials do clarify that in the rule book, a race will end at its scheduled distance. However, they will make every available effort to get a green flag finish.
Can we red flag it?
Yes, we can. Except we can't technically because NR 2003 doesn't have red flags, but...
Well, you can just stop the race at lap 99. Yeah. Technically, you could do that.
Yeah, I suppose. I never really thought about it, though. I mean, mostly I just thought about doing pace minus.
Yeah. I got that.
Evergreen, Jones, Sundale is up to third. Buchanan and Aya make up the top 5. Deborah Williams has really dropped back, battling the 62.
Dude, that car's on the late lap.
This car is in the top 10. Battle for 4th. There comes Aya on Buchanan. I'm not sure how long that car will be in the top 10, but it is in the top 10 right now.
Well, there's not a lot of people near it, so...
Yeah, that is true. 14, Edelstein is in 10th. Battling
I'll say from experience, it can be quite difficult to overtake those modifieds.
Yeah.
Because they can, drive quite erratically. The air behaves quite erratically when it's against a car that is, an abomination of nature. So it's yeah, it can give quite an interesting race when you're trying to overtake one of those.
Sundale trying to get by Jones for the 2nd position. I think she's gonna... Oh no, it's not gonna make it stick. The 4 got a great run on the outside. Four clears the 40.
That's interesting. We don't usually see the outside in that kind of run early in the run.
Yeah, the 40 got a great run that time though.
Yeah, and turn 3's they're just turn 3's not the place to be at the outside.
Yeah. We did see the 4 get that run up on the outside last time in turn 3, but not this time. And this clump of cars is all right next to each other, and the 10 is loving this because she's continually pulling away as the 4 got up into the wall, and I got very concerned.
I wonder who would get the fastest, the most laps led currently. I think, is it the 59?
I think it's the 59 right now, but if the 10 continues leading like this, it'll probably be the 10.
Yeah. Well, the 59 wants out and wants to win, and will take 2nd.
Yeah, and here comes another car that's led good portions of this race, the 11.
Yeah, the 11 hasn't been as good in the past 100 laps, but
Yeah. The 11 hasn't run as well, like... The 11 hasn't run as well in the, in these later runs. The 11 was much better in the early run, but, whoa! Contact with the 0 and the 4. That was tight. They're 3 wide here.
There's a 0 to 4 in the 40. That's barely confusing.
There's still gonna be 3.
Somebody gonna come back to the 11 to the 10, or they're just gonna let it run because now it's a 1.5 the gap. I mean, come on, guys. Please do something. I mean, we know how it ended last time.
At this point, you're running for every position you can get. It's not early in the race anymore. This is.
Yeah, I know, but there's still a bit of strategy. There's still 45 laps left. You don't push as hard on lap 205 and on lap 245.
Yeah.
And I don't think, no, you got to be strategic. You can't just try to get every position you can, and so let somebody run 2 seconds ahead. Hey, we'll see. We'll see if the 6 gonna be able to block the 10 again.
Yeah.
Where's the 6?
There's the 6.
Oh,
Still running
Not,
28.2s. How many laps down is the 6? Oh, a good 7 laps down.
that's not that bad, honestly.
Yeah. It'll
There's
probably
only
end up-
once every like 20 laps.
Yeah, something like that.
No.
Every about 30 laps, doing the math on my
Yeah.
calculator. Definitely not my phone.
No, you carry a calculator with you all the time.
Yeah. Doesn't everyone?
Well, all the nerds do.
True. These cars are closing. Granted, they are kind of bunched together. You know, it's still a wonder that the 62 is in 9th right now, because this car does not look like a 9th place car, but
How many cars are on the lead lap at this point? 19?
16,
Oh my god, 16. Well, it's not that surprising then.
I guess.
Because when you think about it, that means that car's running midfield, which is... Yeah, it's a bit surprising, but you know, it could happen in a small field.
There's the 6. Here comes the 0 now. Hieta Yoko has actually taken second away from Aya.
We haven't seen the
Driver.
0 out front all race.
Yeah, we really haven't. The 0 hasn't really shown much in this race. 11 slides up. 7 car now battling the 11. 59 sits back here, then the 4, then the 40. Then the 2, 62, and 14 make up the rest of the top 10. It's Deborah Williams, that 55 car. I don't know, clearly something's up. Clearly something's up because this car is just not as fast as it was before. As we're gonna go 3 wide here.
What are they thinking?
and around
Oh
goes the
god,
7.
and there
Oh,
you go.
Jones
What were they
piles
thinking?
in.
3 wide. Come on, guys. You don't do it on 40 laps to go, and now you know. Look at that, and now there's gonna be another caution, or is
Yes, that is a
yes,
caution. Yeah, the caution's
yes,
up.
there you go. There's gonna be another caution, and yeah, come on. Now you're just screwed. You're just screwed because you're either out of the race or you're gonna be multiple laps down with damage.
And nobody's coming to pit road except for those cars that just, got damaged there.
Makes sense.
Wow. And the 7's staying out, actually. I think the 7.
Well, the 7 just spun around.
I think the
right?
7 got away with that, yeah.
Probably will lose a bit of speed just because, you know, when you spin the tires, just kind of lose a bit of grip.
Yeah. Free pass car is going to be the 42.
The 0 is reporting vibrations.
Yeah. We're listening on the radio. Our pit reporter has retired for the night, so looks like the 4 is gonna keep going. It's a modified, but it's gonna keep going.
We have a big enough field to do an entire modified race.
Yeah, well, let's see. What it was the 7. 7 got in the 7 and the 11.
See, that's totally on the 7.
Yeah.
7 didn't have to deport that self so high.
Yeah.
Could have just, you know, slowed down a bit.
And the 4 has nowhere to go here. Cassidy Jones, she's just trying to run a race.
Definitely.
It's just all happened so quickly. she's still running, so that's the good sign.
Happy Holy Friday if you're on the East Coast. We call it a Holy Friday in English.
I think we call it Good Friday.
That's the worst name. It's not holy, it's just good. And the 10's leading, so at least they got that. If the 0 wins this, might be one of the cars we didn't see at all win today.
Yeah. I mean, the 10 has definitely been probably the strongest car this last run.
Well, I think the 0's up par with the 10 because it wasn't losing time. It just started, farther back.
Oh, good. The 6 is actually going to get waved around here because they're in the...
Goofy.
The 6 is in the...
That means the 6 is back on... is back there. Could win this now.
The 6 is only 7 laps down now. Lights are out on the pace car, so we are about to go back to green flag racing. And, I mean, if they got their caution out of the way there, and we go green the rest of the way, which, very easily could. I think we only have we're going to have 35 to go when we restart here.
I want to see, what I'm interested to see is, can that 55 rebound?
Yeah, the 55 didn't have a very good run that last run of things, but,
That's a good start.
got a good restart. The 10 got a okay restart, solid enough. Didn't lose the lead in turn 1.
The 59 got an awful restart.
Whoa, what are we doing here?
Wait. Schultz was in the top 5.
Yeah, the 62 is in the top 5 because of the wreck. 0 is looking quite fast. Look at this. The 0 has caught up to the 10 now. And is going to be fighting for the lead here in a bit. I mean, we really have not seen very much of the 0 all race. He's kind of just been kind of hovering in the top 10, but hasn't really done a lot. But that car looks like it might be one of the ones to reckon with here in the late going.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, it ran well at the other. The 0 ran well at the other intermediates. So
yeah, I mean the 0's
the
run
3
well
top
all
10s.
season.
Yeah, basically.
Here comes Buchanan. 59 is up here as well, so wondering about the 4. Where's the 4? There's the 4. Kind of
Yeah,
off pace,
the 4 is not a. I don't think the 4 is going to compete for the race lead now.
Probably not. But the good thing for Jones is that she did lead laps. So regardless of where she finishes, you got points
They
for
did
that.
something.
Well, she'll get a point for leading a lap. I'm sure that whole 1 point will mean a lot. So Yoko, right behind the 10 of Evergreen.
I'm trying. I think Evergreen can take the points lead if she wins this.
I think so. Just under 30 laps to go. We were at, what, 29 to go, I think?
Yeah.
And the 0 is there on the 10. Like, the 0...
The zero's doing this very smartly. Just very smartly, very intelligently. Just waiting for maybe the last 10 laps, maybe something like that, to make the move. It doesn't do anything to make the move right now. When you're basically, except if a caution happens or Buchanan just decides to be good again, it's gonna be between those two, and the zero just should not try to overtake now, because she'll probably be in a bad position in 15 laps or 10 laps.
I mean, the 10's are really starting to lose pace here, I think. So, the 0 might try and make this move right now, because she's there, right on the back bumper of the 10. But she's just kind of staying back right now.
You also got to considering how much the outside has been used today. The marbles, everything like that on the outside, just it's accumulated entirely a lot, and at this point, it's a true dumpster on the outside.
Well, Lara Sundale, again, another run to be proud of for that team as well. Remember, she won at Nazareth, and now she's up into, and she's still running fourth. So, a great run for Vinny Schultz, who is 6th.
Hey, she might be in the playoffs after this.
Yeah. Kate Summers, 11th after, all the hell that she's been through in the last few weeks. I think that's got to be something, you got to praise her for. The 0 is there on the 10, but just kind of staying back right now. I think the 10's getting good corner exit speed. I think that's really the one thing that's keeping the 0 from being able to making this move right now is the 10's getting really good exits.
You know what can fix getting really good exits? Just a bump with like 10. Well, don't even need a bump. Look at that in turn 3.
Here comes
Yoko. That's a good well, 20 laps. I don't know if 20 laps is good. Maybe it's a little bit too early, but not necessarily a bad idea. Could make it work. Not 30. So and there's the 6. Now that's the moment of truth. What happens? Oh no.
Oh, they're gonna go.
They're gonna go 3 wide.
3 wide, passing the 6 car.
The 10 said, "No way, I'm getting blocked again."
Yeah. And the 10 got the lead right back. Katrin Edelstein's gotten around Schultz, so the 14 car is up to 6th. And that's Jones's teammate, so.
Good day for Kato.
Yeah, good day for the Heath Clarkson team. They've just run pretty solidly. Evergreen and Yoko still continue to battle for this win. 20 laps to go. There's Isabella Fitzmaurice. Keep in mind, Fitzmaurice is still scored 1 lap down right now.
Yep.
But she's up here battling with 5th place, so.
Do we do the Windows 11 to Yo? In this?
Yeah, we do. We do that here. Here comes the 0. Here comes Yoko once again for the race lead.
They need to be careful because Buchanan is not that far back. If they continue battling like this, might prove to be detrimental.
59 in, yeah. 10 caught a great run on the outside. I think she's gonna stay ahead of the 0. No, the 0 is gonna dive it down. But the 10 stayed in front. Yeah, look at that. This is letting the 59 catch up.
Yeah. And if the 59 catches up and they start going 3 wide, 2 wide, keep battling, that might bring everyone back.
Yeah.
And we're starting to run out of laps here. There's
Yeah.
only what, 17 laps to go?
Kate Summers in the 8 car is sitting 10th. And again, I talked about how much hell she's been through. 10th is great for her. Here comes Yoko once again. Oh, they're going to catch a lap
And
car.
another lap car.
They're going to split the lap car. Yoko, I think, let off just so that she would be safer. And look at this.
Oh,
the
Buchanan.
59's here. The 59 is here. But she's going
The
to have to
59's
also
gonna be
navigate
blocked.
the 51. Zero car got a very good run through the corner there. She's going to go for it down the front straightaway.
I think if you slow down a bit in turns 1 and 2, you're getting a better entry in turn 3.
Oh, the zero
I've noticed
10
that.
out of line. Can the 10 fight back up top? She's trying.
Hey, Zero will lead a lap.
Zero leads. That's technically the second lap that Yoko's led.
Oh, okay.
Here comes Buchanan. They might go 3 wide. The 59 is here.
Oh my god. The 40 has lost half a second in this. Has gained half a second, I mean, in this.
Yoko has the lead, but it's a 3-way battle now. Yoko, alongside with Buchanan and Evergreen.
See, that's what I was talking when, not battling too early, because they battled a bit too early. It took 10 laps. It took 10 laps for Buchanan when they started battling to come back. So what if Yoko started battling on lap 140 or 240, I mean, would have been easily able to battle without really Buchanan coming back. I guess that wasn't to be.
Well, he had a Yoko for Hokkaido Velocity. That team has not actually won a race this year, despite the fact that I think they've been probably the strongest team so far to start this season. Here comes Evergreen looking for second on Buchanan, and that might let the zero pull away here as we are at our Windows 11 to go from Pikes Peak. And the Finnish driver, Hieta Yoko, out front. Second place, it's Eliza Evergreen. Oh, caution!
Oh no!
What's the yellow for?
Is it me or those? I think there's more tire marks on the backstretch.
There might be. There are tire marks on the backstretch, but there's been like a billion wrecks on the backstretch, so. Well, we're gonna have a late restart in this one. That's gonna change everything. It might have been the 95. Where does the caution come out? Right there. Oh, there was a spinner. It was the 14. Yeah, just 3 wide. Just kind of got loose and.
That was 6th place.
Yeah, that was the 6th place car. Free pass is going to be the 38. So Isabella Fitzmaurice will finally get back on the lead lap.
Unfortunately, there's less than 10 laps to go.
There will be like, yeah, there's going to be like 5 to go. When we get back to green flag.
How short can we get a caution here?
usually the yellows all race have been about 4 laps, so we will probably be going green with about 5 to go. Either 5 or
Yes,
6
no, but
to go.
like if there's a wreck immediately when we go back to green.
I could probably shorten it to 2 laps.
Oh my god. Alright. If the 40 wins this, I'm gonna laugh so hard. If this 62...
Well, the ante's up, and we're getting a late restart, but also, you know, this is gonna be a very, very this is gonna be an interesting finish, especially just because everyone's gonna be going for it here.
But they're all on dead tires at this point.
Yeah, no one's pitting.
So that'll... They're gonna slide up the racetrack and... and be really aggressive.
Yeah. '51 should also get waved around just because she's a lap car in between the top 10. But she will be the only one who would get that treatment. Alright, we're gonna go green. So Yoko is the leader. Then it's Evergreen, Buchanan, Sundale, Ramos, Schultz, Quinton, Munoz, Summers, Williams, the top 10. And the remainder of the lead lap cars, Aya, Von Lundquist, Oswell, Ableton, Perez, Johnson, Edelstein, Jones, and Fitzmaurice. 6 laps to go from Pikes Peak International Raceway here in Fountain, Colorado. Who will win this race? We're about to find out. With a 6-lap shootout to the end. Zero with a gets on the gas very late. Green flag, and I think she might have caught the 10 sleeping. Oh, the 10 slides up. Here comes Sundale for third. Sundale for second.
Oh,
Caution
God.
is out.
Oh, no!
6 of 51.95.
And we're gonna have a very, very late restart.
Oh, we're gonna have another restart then.
Yeah. I think we're... are we gonna wait until the end of the race to show that replay, or...? But I have an idea of what happened. It's probably just... people slipping, old tires... and, yeah, nothing really to avoid it.
Let's see here. There's Akuma and Reynolds. And
Yeah, look at that. There's just no grip.
the 95
Oh,
just kinda
no.
turns herself. Oh, the 51 just plows right into it. Free pass car would be the 95, but the 95 is...
Not very healthy.
Yeah. I'm gonna pace minus just to make sure that we get a green flag restart. I think we'll either go green with 1 or 2 to go.
You think it's gonna win?
One of the cars probably.
Well, I think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be the 10.
I think the
I think the
pace car will-
the third placed car in a restart is the best one,
I
honestly.
think the pace car is gonna win, honestly.
No, it's like 100 laps behind. It's been lapped hundreds of times.
True. Actually, it's 247 laps back because it's on lap 0.
Oh my god. Yes, exactly.
Lights are out. 2 lap restart for this one. So, Yoko, Sundale, Evergreen, Buchanan, Ramos, Schultz, Quinton, Munoz, Summers, Williams. The top 10 as we run, as we're going to get a restart with 2 laps to go. This will be it. Next flag will end the race. Caution or checkered. The white flag won't end the race, though. Don't worry. Unless it's a caution.
Does the green flag end the race?
Yeah, the green flag ends the race. The caution, if the caution comes out again, the race would be over. Green flag. Great jump by the 0 once more. Can Yoko hang on for just another couple laps here? We're going to make it back around to the white. The white flag is out. 1 lap to go from Pikes Peak. Battle for second as Evergreen goes for it on Sundale. Sundale's going to lose 2-3 spots from that, but they're not going to be able to catch the 0. Hieda Yoko, out of turn number 4, will win in the mountains. Yoko wins at Pikes Peak.
Sundale just literally didn't have speed. It seemed like it didn't have like top speed. That's interesting. But yeah, that's a good job from Joko. It's you know it came at the end of the race, but still had to defend it kind of.
Yeah, Yoko had to work for that one.
Yeah, so deserves it, and well, it's gonna be a good points day for everyone that managed to finish. Because we only have 10 cars finishing. 20 cars finishing. 20 cars, not 10.
Yoko did have to hang on for that one, but Yoko had 2 excellent restarts there. And I mean,
yes.
You know, we hadn't really seen it happen all day where the leader wasn't really able to get a good jump. It only happened a couple times before that, and those last 2 runs, the 0 was able to get restarts good enough to jump the rest of the field. So, Hieda Yoko, who came into this race, 6th in points? Gonna come home with the victory. Eliza Evergreen, who is 1 spot ahead of her in points, is gonna be 2nd. And then Abby Buchanan, another great run for that 59 car. 2 weeks in a row, she's had a pretty solid finish. 3rd place for Buchanan. Rachel Ramos ends up 4th, and Laura Sundale ends up 5th. So, you know, we're gonna kind of have a bit of an accelerated post-race show just because it's late, and also we're literally the only 2 here. So
we're the only 2 at the track. Everybody's already left.
What did you think of that one? How would you judge that one in your eyes?
Was pretty good. Kind of unfortunate we didn't have a green flag pit stop cycle, but you know, the race was pretty good. We kept getting overtakes, so at least we kept getting, you know, changes in the conjuncture of the race, you could say. So it's I think, I don't know, I'd say it's a good 7 or 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
This is a good one.
Yeah, that's fair. I will say I thought that was a great race. I thought it was really fun seeing seeing the cars at the end of the race being able to overtake. And I thought it was really fun seeing cars, especially for Yoko, who didn't really show up until the very end. I think that was a great job on her part to just be able to finish well and take the win away at the very end. I mean, you kind of don't expect to see that, but that's kind of the thing we've been having a lot is, the drivers kind of come out of nowhere sometimes.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's going to do it for us here from Pikes Peak. I'm Echo, on behalf of Ludovic and Eddie Devs. Thank you all for watching this race, and I'll see you next time. Have a good night.